Hello everybody and welcome to this interior design tutorial in which I'm going to show you how we can use Shapr3D to design this interesting 11 feet by 11 feet by 8 feet office space. In this tutorial, I'm going to start actually with looking at an image I took to create some basic dimensions. And based on that, we're going to build everything inside the space using the parametric modeling system. What's actually really nice about this is we can later adjust certain elements, for example, like the door, make it wider. We can design perfectly the book rack system. And then, for example, I'm still like totally in love with this, how fun it is. Prototype also the functionality of movable objects. So for example, here you can see now we have blinds. So I can go to the pattern command and then I can just move actually these blinds further up and down. And then I can go to the move rotate command and rotate them. Now look how fun and fast it actually is to kind of like stage and prototype something like this. Cool. And then logically, every room also needs to have furniture. So we bring in a side table, chair, and a lamp. So we have objects we can then move around and also visualize how with these furniture elements and the functionality or work opportunity they provide, how this would, in conjunction with the room, pin wall, a window, a door, and bookshelves, kind of like create a work environment. What's actually the best way to put these furniture inside the space? Looks like an easy answer, but considering some of the problems of this room, it's actually not that easy. And then we are going to finish everything with adding some materials to the floor and the individual objects, different colors to the walls, also to explore kind of like color planning. And yeah, that's going to be a fun assignment. With all that said, let's do it. So let's get started. I have the demo file open. The download link is in the description of this video. And as you can see, I have here a sketch of different views. That's kind of like the way how I take notes when I go to a site. That's like my own personal handwriting. Upper left corner, I have a plan view. Then I have an elevation view. And then I have a row with detailed sketches. Now, so the room you see from the top, then the individual walls. North is actually sketched in. North is looking down. And this is the north wall. Here's actually the door with the bookshelf, the east wall, the south wall with the window opening, and the west wall with the pin wall. Now the bookshelf will go over here. The door goes obviously in the opening for the door. The blinds go over the window. And then we have the baseboard and trim. And you can also see how I dimension everything with the inches and feet, because I find this very often. I mean, again, this you can work the way how you want. This sketch is only for myself. And to me, it makes just more sense to measure walls with, for example, feet. There are clean numbers here. So 11 is great, 8 for the height. And then the rest I do with inches because that is just easier than working there with feet. By the way, you can also switch between feet and inches if you want. But because 1 foot is 12 inches, now I can switch to feet to type in 11, or I stay in inches and simply type in 11 multiplied by 12. That is something what I, for example, am going to do in this demo. Okay, so enough talk. Let's go to a top view or like 3D view, sketch rectangle on the ground plane from the origin. And then I type in 11 multiplied by 12 and tab 11 multiplied by 12 and enter. And there we are. I do have always show dimensions turned on. Just for giggles, if I go to foot, there you see how it switches it. Even meters or millimeters, you see it doesn't really matter what you select here. Beautiful. So that is good. Let's go to a top view. We have sketched in the volume of the room, but now we have to do the walls. I can draw lines outside manually, or I just use the offset loop command and offset this 5 inches. Perfect. Then this is the outside wall. That has to be 9 inches because it's thicker, more insulation. That moves this wall. We push this back by giving this 5 inches. These are actually 5 inches and they are 5 inches too. Everything is drawn from the center. We still can rotate everything. So select everything and say horizontal, vertical. Done. Perfect. Cool. Now this is the way how you can work in AutoCAD, how you can work in SketchUp or whatever. The 2 sketch profiles we can select and then extrude actually 10 inches down. That's, let's say, the floor thickness. The floor, ceiling, and then everything that's in between. The choice, etc. Good. Let's turn on the sketch again. We would like to see now our wall. That is going to be 8 multiplied by 12. Thank you. As a new body. Beautiful. Okay, so let's actually create an opening for the window. So I move this image a little bit further back. On this wall, we're going to create the window. I click on section view because as you can see, the rest is gone. Super useful. Then I can go to front view, go to sketch, and then on this wall, I'm going to create myself a rectangle. I have a lot of dimensions. The distance from the wall to the window or ceiling or floor to the window, and also the inside. Technically speaking, you can work only with the dimensions outside or the window inside dimensions and then to a wall and to the bottom. Then the rest will be automatically set. Okay, so this is kind of like 51, 55. Very good. So that is 51. That is 55. Thank you. Then this has to move over 21.5. So the right edge to the right edge of the wall. There we are. 21.5. We also double click the window and make sure it doesn't rotate. So horizontal, vertical constraint. And then I can select this lower edge, the edge on the ground. This is selecting that sketch that I don't want. So I hide the sketch. So now I only can select the geometry. And here that distance, if I, by the way, hold on, there, I'm going to hide the floor. So now I'm basically selecting the lower edge of the wall. And that is going to be 30.5. Very good. Now I want to make an opening for the window. Plop, we just select the sketch profile and cut it out. Now, the 2 edges, 55.5, 55.5, that is correct. That is 14.5, 14.5. So that is correct. Perfect. And this is only just one way, also one sequence to how you could do this. I'm going to hide the ground on purpose. The way how I'm also going to show you in this exercise to build openings for a window and a door and then put a window and a door in is highly simplified. For example, for the door, I put in the basically the door itself, but the frame it sits in, I ignore. And the same with the windows. We are going to build the window frames, but this whole construction casket it sits in, we don't do. So for example, these edges, technically speaking, need to be a little bit bigger so we can put the frame in that basically holds then the window system. So let's actually go ahead to the door. I'm rotating this one, move this back so I can go to this view. Same process, select this wall, section view, create a sketch, and then here I'm creating a rectangle. There we are, or 3 lines, I mean, horizontal, vertical. That is 30, that is 80, and this distance here, that's the one that is important. That is 3.5. That actually pulls this in. Beautiful. And then also here, plop, I can cut this out. Beautiful. Cool. How do we do now a door? Well, we have everything for it. We don't need to sketch the door. I can simply select these 2 elements and then loft it. The door is kind of flush with the wall there, and that is a 5-inch door. That's really thick. Normally it's like 1.75. Let's make it 2 inches. The door is also perfectly flush. Now we can rotate this one out, but for a quick demonstration, this is sufficient. In real life, you have also doors and windows. These elements are pre-manufactured. We have 3D models we can download. Or like in this case, we simply have to dimension our openings, etc. correctly. And then the construction person knows how to put the real world pieces in real life into those openings. Very good. You saw actually how I lofted between the 2 edges. I did this also on purpose because if I go back to the sketch and let's say make this 40, you see how the door follows it. So I don't need to create a new sketch for that. Since I'm working on the door, it might make sense to continue working on the door. So the door and the image I will isolate so it's easier to navigate our environment. So here's our door handle, 36 to 2.5. Okay, so on the interface, there's another sketch. Double click. Ooh, what did I do? I press spacebar, sorry. Select everything and go vertical, horizontal. That is 2.5 and that is 36. These lines are for construction purpose only. And then I already know that memorized that is actually 3 inches. And then this disc we extrude a 1/4 inch as a new body. Very good. And then now we need to figure out how do we do this actually. Now, how do we extrude this out? So on this face here, I can create another sketch, and that is actually just 1 inch. Okay. So for a doorknob, I could extrude this one out, but no, it has to go to the right side. So how actually could this work? Let's say we make this 2 inches. Then we are going to use the move command, and this we rotate 45 degrees. And then I want to extrude this, but you can see it goes not the direction I want. So this is actually not going to work. So I undid everything till I had this circle. I'm going to do the following. I'm going to select the cylinder. And then I'm going to add a construction line. And you see this axis is at the center. And then I can go add construction and along edge at an angle. This one, thank you. Maybe this one. No, which I'm always confused which one it wants me to select. This one. Yeah, it does. Oh, good. This horizontal. Thank you. This axis line I don't need anymore, so I can hide it. Oh, I can't hide it because I'm in this isolation mode. There, now it's gone. Now select the construction plane, sketch, and here's actually my circle. You see I drew a diameter. Then this goes out to, and let's say 5.5 inches. Click and escape and escape. These all should be horizontal vertical, so they're 90 degrees. This is just only a helper, so a construction line, because this goes left to right. I find the midpoint for this line to connect on. So now I can exit the sketch and simply say, so that profile along this line and that line, sweep. There we are. Cool. Now you see it's actually a little bit easier. This line, maybe we dimension to 2 inches, bring this further back, and then we can play with how big the door handle should be. So the kids handle, an adult handle, or whatever, 4 inches. Let's go by 4.5. The end cap we can select and round a little bit. There we are, 1.25. And maybe here to 1.25. Cool. There we are. So for Giggles, let's try this test one more time. So what happens if we change this? You notice that the door handle moves with it. Isn't that great? Cool. That's the beauty of parametric modeling. You structure it correctly, and then later you can drive changes. I created a lot of bodies. At this point, it's getting kind of confusing already. I think we can agree on that. So I select everything and simply put this into a folder, and that, for example, I rename and say that's the door. And even here, I can put everything into a folder so I can turn the sketches off. The other handle we ignore, we could mirror this over by simply selecting these two faces, create a midplane, and then use the midplane to mirror that stuff over. No, the door is done. Oh, the U2 belong to there, and that one, good. Now we actually can work on the window. So my image, I move back and then I rotate it 180. Here again, select the face, section view, so it's easier to work in. This one is gone, and we have actually to like a left and right. So I'm trying to solve the rest now actually mainly via modeling. Again, these parts are all pre-manufactured, but also sometimes when we very quickly model something, we need a placeholder geometry. And that is what I'm going to do right now. So for example, I can select the top and bottom or left and right and do a loft. Then I'm going to maybe hide my wall and say, so these two make this smaller, 26. That is now 3 inches. Okay, so I shrunk this one down to 3 inches. That is okay. If I go back to here, maybe if I go 7, now this is actually now 1 inch. Yeah, 1 inch. Okay, cool. To do now the window, look at this. I go here left and right, or I could also go up and down. Doesn't matter which way you do, but ideally select then the same ways. This cannot be flush with the wall, so I move this back 3 inches, and then that actually, it's easy if we select 1, that tells me 6 inches, and go 2 inches for material thickness, and then I say here, well, add this one too. Thank you. Wow, what? That should actually have worked. Okay, good. One more time. Oh, it does not. Okay, then let's do it this way. So I moved this by 4 inches. That is now also 2 inches. Okay, now so I moved this by 4. Yeah, it was 9 minus 4 minus 2. Yeah. Okay, very good. And now to create the opening, we select the front and back faces and we use the shell command. Say 2 inches. So we have kind of like a 2-inch by 2-inch cross section for the frame. If we want to be super tidy and even add in actually now the window glass, then we do this one more time. There we are. There. And that actually goes over by, let's say, 1/2 inch. And then this goes over by, oh wait, how big is this? So, there, 1/2 inch, and those, for example, 1/2 inch, maybe 0.75. Can I go points there? 0.25. Okay, now this should be 1/2 inch. Yeah. Okay, cool. Now there you see this now. Super easy. Also here, just to show you the difference, if we make this 60, there actually see how, for example, all this actually updated. No, this actually did not change because we change this by a percentage. So if I go to this body and say, so we lofted this, there's the offset. Now, because now we might made this wider and I want this to be obviously now smaller, and you see here, but you see how the window follows it. Kind of cool, no? Just to show you some possibilities how we later can play. Good. So, no, not the wall. That is our window. And there we are. You can, of course, also create everything with sketches, but sometimes I find this takes so much time to be very specific. And you saw in my quick demo here when I made this a little bit wider, it was not very complicated to then adjust the center column to make it nice and thin again. Beautiful. Okay, very good. There we are. Now we have this done. Let's take a look at the pinwall. So it is 2 feet, 4 feet, 4 feet, 2 feet, and 4 feet. Okay, very good. Same process again. I click sketch. Then it goes to the plan view, section cut, so I don't see that thing. These are essentially 2 elements. So I'm drawing here just a rectangle and then draw a vertical division line. This is actually 24 inches, now 2 feet, and then that is 8 multiplied by 12. There we are. This thing can freely move around. Probably one of the easiest ways is select the midpoint, go to here in this case the midpoint on this line. Then this I can make horizontal, vertical, and specify, I think that was 4 feet, no? No, 2 feet. So 24. So I'm changing that line, and with that line I also center actually this element. That's just a construction line. Just one way. Otherwise I could also have dimensioned everything to lower edge to the lower edge, left edge to the left edge, right edge to the right edge, top edge to the top edge. But this way, this is centered, and I can nicely move everything up and down. Now here we have our panels. Maybe turn section cut off. I'm going with 0.5. So a new body, so they are a tick bigger. Logically, it's way too big, but so we can see those. And here one more time, when we go ahead and change everything there, everything follows. Beautiful. Cool. Yeah, there is actually our pin wall. Now you see, like, step by step, I worked on all these walls. What actually makes sense now to work further on? Yeah, let's actually create, first thought actually to create the shelf, but around the window and the door, we need to have a trim, and then we also have the baseboard. Because when the trim is all around the door, then we know where actually this nearly top horizontal wooden element can be, so it doesn't cut into the trim. So how do we start? Let me try to think about it. Okay, I will use this one and then just rotate it 180 degrees. Go to there. Very good. And maybe move this over a little bit. Then I go to here. So this will basically flow around here. Actually, that means this one. I need to rotate this way a little bit. You will see in a second why. Cool. Okay. We can select this edge and then click on Add Plane. And this plane I move somewhere here to the center, doesn't really matter. And on this plane now, that is where I'm going to create a sketch. So now we have here 2.5 inches, and that actually goes up. So 2.5, we can draw this there. And then that is actually 5 inches, sorry, 0.5 to the left and 0.5 down there. And I know this is actually 0.25, click, and 0.25 up and click. This goes in, yeah, let's say 0.1, and this actually goes 0.1. This was not dimensioned. There we are. And maybe moving all these measurements out can help. There, very good. And then here's our spline command, and then we can do plong there. Yeah, kind of like sculpt how we would like this to look. Sweet. There are way too many dimensions, so let's hide this. So this is good. Now we can select this and actually select this edge and this edge and this edge, and then do a sweep. There it is. Look at that. Easy peasy. And because, again, now this is all parametric, if I go ahead and change these values, let's say 1. There, everything is being updated. Cool. Now we have this one actually there. I need this to there. Do I want to make a copy of that thing? No, definitely not. So I will do actually the following. I do have actually a master. This master now I can extrude. I don't know, 0.5 as a new body. Very good. And now I will say, so this lower edge, as you can see, I would like to align to there. Does this work? Can I flip this? There. Yeah, so it's not really flipping the way how I need it to be. Okay, so that actually did not really work out well. I will select this and move this over and rotate it. And let's see when I go this face to that face and say align. Oh, look at there. See how it snapped onto it there. Long. Okay, good. That actually means undo, undo, undo. Or actually, no, hold on. Redo, redo, redo. All good. What I wanted to do is this move command, I simply delete. I don't need it anymore because this way I needed to look from behind, but this wall was in my way. So how do I finish this now? Well, I have actually here my profile. Now this is a body, and from this body, I can do this trim too. And then do a sweep. There we are. And then that thing, I simply delete. We don't need it anymore. Pretty awesome. Oh, undo this one. Because I noticed this is rotated. So let's go to the align command. Ah, rotate it there. Okay, that is the way how it needed to be. Because I only said like aligned face to face. And there. Clunk. Cool. Okay. I know I did this a lot, so one last demo one more time. So if we go back here to this, oh, is this not dimensioned? Oh, I don't know why. So let's say 1 and enter. I was actually inside modeling command, which is why this got not really updated. And there you see now, there, updated. I hope this actually showed you how you can work in one sketch, not define anything, and then via a copy of a body or a master, then we can drive the changes on other elements too. Pretty cool. So since we were doing all this, let's actually now then do our baseboard. We have kind of like this view. So what I can do is rotate this one to here so it's easier to see. Bring it down, turn on section cut, and I have to model this actually in reverse. So this wall is here, sketch. So 4 inches up. Click, and then to the right, 2.5, click and escape. At the bottom, 0.5 to the right, click, and I don't know how much this actually really goes up. Click and click and click. Select everything, horizontal, vertical. This is 0.1. These two are the same, so I can make them simply equal. And then from there to there, that should be 1 inch. So yeah, pull this one up. Sure. And then also here, bonk, 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 can create this nice detail, for example. Yeah. Okay. Actually, here, this line I delete. I can bring this one right to there. And this one here we specify to 1. Very good. And also down here, we have another 0.5. This is horizontal, and then click, click, drag this out. This midpoint goes onto there. And this way we have actually an arc that is 0.5 of a radius. So everything is nicely constrained. Very good. Cool. Yeah, now we do have everything. And I can select this. I select them individually and then select kind of like this edge and this edge and this edge, you, and do a sweep. I can hide this one and then select this one there and there. And for everybody who is new actually to interior design, like if you're a first, second semester, after this exercise, start looking around in your house. Look for these details and also how crazy sometimes builder build. Okay, so whoa, what is going on here? Well, everything is fine now. So this one and this one. So this face I want to push to there. And I can use what is called a replace face. There. Well, that looks kind of terrible. So let's see how we're going to fix this. But this definitely I can move back to there. There. So now that looks actually much nicer. Maybe this one I make flush here with there. Okay. Now perfect. And then you and you. Now this is actually what they did. Just rotate. They just cut it at an angle so it looks like, oh, we cleaned it up. Yeah. By the way, why do you have actually something like this and the baseboard? If you have a hardwood floor, the hardwood floor should not touch the drywall. It might damage it or so. Then you have basically the baseboard that protects also the bottom part of the drywall floor so you don't hit it with your shoe. But then between the baseboard and the wooden floor is a small gap because the wooden floor expands and shrinks summer and winter. And to cover up that gap, well, that's the reason why I have that one. So here we do exactly the same. Map it over and bring this over to there. Very good. Okay. I don't do more because actually actually no, we can undo. I just realized the shelf can come in now because now we have everything ready for the shelf. The rest is all pretty good. Okay. So how or what would now be the easiest way to create the shelf? So we can select this wall, create a new sketch. There we are. section cut. Very good. We still kind of see actually where the door is. And now I will, yeah, start drawing everything in. So from here to here, there is a line that goes down, that goes over and goes up. Then I have here a line that goes down, goes over and goes up. Select those, horizontal, vertically constrained. I will select here these edges and make them equal. And that, let's say 0.5 of an inch. That's definitely too small. Let's go with 1 inch. Very good. Okay, sweet. Okay. Here now I can connect this. There we are. I draw a line down. Here I draw a horizontal line. This line is just a helper, by the way. Everything horizontal, vertical. And I say, hey, that one, by the way, make equal to that one. That's actually my thickness line. Cool. Okay, so now that is kind of good. I can drag this one down a little bit. How long is this? 11. Yeah, okay, cool. Then I will to the bottom and over and back up. Very good. Yeah. Here we will do the same one more time. Maybe this wall I should hide. And then there and there. Okay, so the baseboard is gone. And I do the same here, equal. So this one dimension here, I drive everything else. You see how the whole shelf actually updates. 1.5 to make this look thicker. 2, yeah, let's go with 2. What is this distance now? 9 inches. Yeah, so I can't really put a book in when a book is 11 inches tall. This is short. Okay, but who knows? We can play with this first a little bit. This other door here I hide. I would like to see my wall again. There we are. And now I need something on the other side. I draw in here a line and from there a line down to the left and back up. Again, select everything, horizontal, vertical, and then this tiny line and this tiny line equal. Flonk, you see that went over. Okay, very good. So I would say I can hide the rest because now we kind of like have top, bottom, left, right, and all these openings. And now we can go ahead and start filling in all the rest. So here to there, I draw a line, and there to there. Then this is again a midpoint line, which I will link to this. This all should be horizontal, vertical. Okay. I would like to have 2 pieces at the center. Okay. So that is actually very easy to solve. This is board number 1. There is board number 2. Connection, 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 connection. You to you, you to you, you to you. So also midpoints. You notice now I work a lot with the midpoints there, and then quite a lot of equal constraints. And now to make the rest perfect, equal these lines. Well, it should have. I don't know why it didn't. Maybe you two equal. Okay, thank you. And you two equal. There. And this one actually moved. I didn't allow you to move. So we can bring this back. Where's the trim? There's the trim. Okay. What's the distance here? So that is 28. What about 29? When I make this 29, okay, I still have, well, yeah, I have an inch of a distance. Okay, that is fine. That is good. Nice. Okay. And then 1, 2, 3, 4. We have those in between two. Now these shelves can actually be um, moved around to adjust, for example, everything. So we have honestly everything kind of ready. So section cuts we can leave. There we are. And this image I'm going to hide. And now what we need, or what we can do is we have to select all the logical elements which we are going to extrude. And this is the wall, and there, and there. And this is actually an element that sits on top. Very good. So all this, now I'm extruding out, let's say 1 foot. Then this is the piece that is on top. I extrude this to the length there. Oh, I forgot this tiny element there. Yeah, that's not the time where I can select these elements. There, extrude this out, go to there. No, and then to have actually a little bit of play. This is just really up to us how we want to do this. Copy a linked, bring this up 14 inches. What's now the distance there in between? So 12, so a book can actually fit in there. Fine. And then we can select this, go to pattern command. So we need 3 more. You see now how we can fill this, for example. Or this is maybe kind of like silly the way how this looks. I select all this and go to pattern. And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4. And tab. And then I bring this up. And you see how now we can move this around. Let me show you a little trick. If we go to 5, then I position the 5th very closely. So it overlaps actually with the one on top, 20.25. Ah, okay. Okay. I can adjust this. So now you see this is actually right under it. 7.5. There. Oh, perfect. Very good. And then actually I duplicate this, or as I now realized, I'm going a little bit forward and backwards here right now. But what I'm trying to show you is really how when you work with this, you can also, yeah, sometimes you have different ideas and you explore those while modeling. So this, I think, needs to go down another 16.75. 16.6. And there, that's the number. There. Now we have now everything beautifully, simply adjusted. And we can still have fun, like move elements, for example, individually around to play with this. Oh, and there. Cool. Okay. So I have a lot of sketches in here, and I put all this into a new folder. Actually, here I can drag this right into there and call this one bookshelf. There we are. And then let's clean up everything a little bit. So you, that is actually, let's say, trim baseboard. Yeah, look at this. Clong, 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 clong. There we are. We can call this one here room. And then hiding this. So I'm just trying to get rid of the sketches so I do not see them. Yeah, look at this. Huh? That is actually how easy it is to build the room. Then actually now we can go ahead and add some basic materials because it's a pretty crazy gray block. So very quickly we can go to the Visu. We have the bookshelf, so we can go to wood. And then let's take a look at where is the laminated or painted. So this here I drag over. I can drag this one also on the baseboard and trim. You see how everything is adjusted. The same also for the window and for the door. We notice here now, oh, that is actually not correct. This is where I mentioned I, for example, now would extrude or expand this to create the cavity for the frame and then model the frame that goes into it. Here we simply suggest this by changing the color there. No, nobody will see that. This is just only a quick concept model. This is not a construction model, which is different. There we are. Sure, pretty cool. Then we could go ahead and say the room. Yeah. What do we do with the room? We have the utility. So this is actually the basic color. We can make this a little bit brighter or grayish. Now this is kind of like a matte finish. Then we have the floor. So I can select the floor surface, change this to a wood material. No, it's based on you, what you actually would like to use. Say here, sanded, very nice. There we are. We can play with the size a little bit. We can play with the rotation. If you want to be costly, you put this on an angle. 90, there we are. This cream color is a little bit too creamy. We can adjust this. I mean, there's no like super white. There's most times a yellowish white, or there's actually kind of like a bluish white. I'm just going to undo actually the color change. So I'm back to that original color I have. Yeah, that is kind of nice. Here, the door handle, that actually, let's make brushed metal. Let's see, a quick aluminum. Not that it's made out of aluminum, but it has this nice brushed look. There's the pin wall. So pin wall, I think that's under wood. Let's take a look at it. It's coming up soon somewhere. There's the cork material, also too big in the display. Here, we make this bigger. It's easier to see what that is. There's no light coming through. So what do we do with the with those? We can double click and select the object. Well, essentially that needs to be some sort of glass, for example. So thin glass. There. Very good. Now we can look through. Now, because glass, little tip, is expensive to render, what we very often do is we simply leave the glass out. It's just empty. Or we put a surface in with a transparency and reflection, so it looks like there is glass. Cool. Okay. Now you see it's taking slowly note. There are a few tiny touch-ups we have to finish. So for example, yeah, what do we do here now? And also, how do we do that? And then do I want actually this baseboard here in the back, or do I not want it? Now should it look like this or this? So I, for example, in this case, will say, good, we make this flush to this. So let's do a split body. Thank you. And then this one and this one to here, split body, and this one and this one. Oh, I need to get this face here. Oh, 1 second. There, that one. Split. And then I select all the stuff that I don't need anymore and delete it. I'm going to hide the room because I would like to select that piece here on, is that the axis? Yeah, that is the axis. Bookshelf here, this one I wanted. Now all this we delete. Very good. Because of the trimming or split command, you see how these elements actually got split there. So it's not a big deal. We can select this and glue this back together. Very good. Yeah, so now this actually looks nicer now. And here, well, we can bring this over and then say there, rotate this 45 degrees, or I think 35. Beautiful. Cool. Last thing to model is, it's another great example for the parametric modeling, is the blinds for the window. But how do we start here? I want this maybe, yeah, we'll do it this way. I'm going to mount everything kind of like on top. So on the top surface of this trim, I will make a sketch. There we are. And then I will draw myself here. I need to figure things out a little bit. So there, let's say 6 inches, and then back to there, and connect it to there and there and there. And then this sketch now I'm going to isolate because I have the correct position. These two lines will be equal. I select everything and make it horizontal vertically. That's going to be, let's say 5.5. Not sure yet. How wide is this? Let's say 62. Again, this is something that's pre-made. We just buy it and install it, but sometimes we want to have a quick geometry to show somebody how that thing could look. Then I'm going to extrude this one up, let's say 5 inches. Then I'm going to shell the whole thing out a little bit. Oh, I can't do the shelling because there's the sketch. Unisolate, only select the body. Then we can do the shelling. 0.125. So let's say that's kind of like the frame where the mechanics and everything sits inside. Unisolate. No, okay. Could go back and then play with these values a little bit. Maybe make this a tick bigger. Maybe make this less offensive. Yeah, now that feels better. Okay, then you and you go to there, go to top view, and now inside the sketch there, I would like to have now actually my blind. So I'm making a new rectangle, and that should be let's say 60 by 5. Sorry, not 5. 4 inches. Or hold on. It's a pretty long video. I start forgetting the values. Yeah, 5 and 60. Okay, good. So let's go back to this thing here and isolate top view, zoom in. So if this actually will be 5 and this will be 60. And then this thing, as we can see, needs to be bigger. It might actually be 7. I'm not sure yet. Oh, okay, I'm deleting this rectangle. I'm not sure why actually it had somewhat an issue changing the drawing. So there it is. And yeah, here's my little midpoint to there and there, my little helper to make these two horizontal vertical. Very good. What's the distance here? 0.5. So you see here I have a bigger frame. Now if I go unisolate, please cross fingers. And yeah, now I have space in front of the window. Ideally, the blind should also be quite close to the window. So maybe 6.5. Well, that's going to be scratchy. 6.75 there. Okay, there's a little bit of a gap. The more the blinds can cover the window, the better. Okay, cool. Okay, well, these are pretty big blinds. I think my measurement is wrong. That's actually a nice thing to admit because also that's one problem of taking measurements. Sometimes you make a typo or something and then this, looks really massive. Anyway, let's get this finished. We extrude this to 0.25 of an inch. Let's say it's a wooden blade, no? And then I select this one and we go to pattern 20, bring this one down. I set 20 for the quantity there. Yeah, okay. That's quite a lot. Yeah, something must be wrong with my measurement here. It's good. Again, this can show me how we can fix things. I think there must be more like 3 inches. Let's see, show me the dimension so I can easily find it there. So let's say 3 inches. Can bring this one now closer, 4 inches, 4.25. Yeah, that's easier. And then this one we make 61. And you see how we are framing it. Cool. Beautiful. Okay, so how are we now going to rotate everything? That's actually the really nice thing about, as I mentioned, the parametric system. I select my first blind on top, then I rotate this one, let's say 65, and then the trick is at the end, I simply move this one up above the pattern command. So because now I'm always rotating the object in the first place, I can always select that. And as you can see, yeah, play with this. Make this open, make them up, horizontal, or go down. It's kind of cool, actually. That's kind of like the way how you do digital prototyping. And all this goes in there, and let's say here, this is our blind. And then back to Visu. Yeah, here, same material. Wait, oh, this is the thin, no. Laminated there, blind. Actually, that's plastic, so that's not something I can do. Let's go to plastic. Yeah, let's do it this way. Now we need to figure out the color. By the way, here is the hex code. We can copy it, go to there, select the field, paste the hex code in, enter, and there the color is transferred. Cool. Okay, beautiful. We now go to a different environment, so everything looks less harsh or washed out. We go to dark environment. As you can see, it's easier to observe. And then with the light rotation, now we can move this around a little bit. Logically, we have a roof here on top, so the sunlight can go in this way, but that's one way how, for example, we can create at least an interesting looking image, for example. So very good. So that modeling is actually done. To bring this exercise now to an end, we can go ahead and import the supplied office furniture set. That's actually going to be very useful because then we can put into this empty space furniture and move them around and envision how it would be to work inside that space. So based on the operating system you're using, Windows, iOS, or Mac, go to the import section. On a Mac, I will go to File, Import to Current Project, select the office room furniture shaper model, and then there it is. So we see there's a side table, a work table, a chair, and a lamp. I'm going to select everything and then move this further up. Let's rotate it, move the table in front of the window. I will select the chair, rotate it 90 degrees, put this under, the table, and here's the lamp. And the lamp maybe I put into this corner. Cool. Okay. No, that looks actually quite nice. But in real life, this is facing east, this is facing west, this is facing south. So that means during noon, the light will basically, or the sun will shine right through the windows. Which means if you are sitting here, well, you're kind of like going to stare into the sun. And that's cool if you wear shades, but who really wants to wear shades inside our house? So now we can think about it. Okay, so maybe that looked first as a logical idea. What about we just move this to here? So table maybe goes to there. The lamp, yeah, maybe to here. Okay. I really like symmetry, so I'm going to put the table and the chair nicely centered in front of the pinwall. Yeah, that looks nice, but there's the problem of the doors. When this door opens, this creates a really kind of tight corridor. So what else can we do? Well, we could select the table and the chair. Why do we actually need to have everything kind of like along a wall? What about we give ourselves the luxury and yeah, maybe design it this way. So you could look at the pin walls where you pin something up. The sunlight is go to there. If I would look to the right side, there's actually the bookshelf. If a person would need to grab the books. Now, so you can see actually how very quickly with this way, now you could just create screenshots, for example. You could explore different settings. What about I move this over, maybe bring this to there. There's the side stand, get this closer. How would this look? Yeah, I mean, this could look too, I mean, this could work too. Just have a really open, empty space. So this 11 feet by 11 feet square room is actually having quite an interesting challenge of designing a space so that you really make good use of it. I will just undo for 1 second. I really started to like kind of like this ridiculous idea to put the table just right into the center, no? Yeah, that's kind of cool. There is one thing I didn't really show also before. We did rotate these blinds. Now I can go back to the blinds. There's the pattern tool. And then with the interactive tool, for example, push the blinds more back together. I see on the blinds are really thick. Now in real life, they are actually smaller and thinner, but for the demonstration of this video, they're easier to see. But you can see how now you could, for example, if we go to the visualization tool, we could look from the outside into the space, or if we go very close to where we would sit. So, okay, so how from here would everything actually look like? There. Cool. Okay. So, last finishing touch. As a color designer, let's go to the Visu. There we are. And work actually a little bit also with the materials. So this birch board. No, that is something actually I picked first. It's also what the software has to offer, but it's way too bright. Let's go to the wood again and look into different options. So this is very dark, but what's actually really nice is you see how the wood floor contrast to the wood of the furniture. That is actually a really nice contrast. And then we can continue and say, so all the walls plus the door are gray. Well, what about maybe this is an accent wall? We make this wider. What about we make this orange? No, you see this? What about both? Here we make orange. Now you can see how very quickly you can play actually with color theory ideas or themes. When we use this one and maybe we make this actually darker. Now that's actually quite nice. Or what about this one and this one? The door maybe we will leave untouched. So you see these walls are all darker and then the door and the front wall are brighter. What about this one we make bluish? I mean, you can see how very quickly you can explore an idea and then you can think about, now if this idea is it good or is it maybe not something we shouldn't have shown in this video? Okay, cool. Okay. I mean, this is actually quite nice with these darker walls. Um, Maybe here I do this also dark, so it's a nice contrast actually with the white of the frame, the trim, the shelf system, the white of the furniture, and then this one is actually brighter. We could, yeah, I would maybe keep this kind of like this, so it's quite nice. Okay, very good. Perfect. So this kind of sums up everything what I wanted to show you in this exercise, how you can design the space using parametric modeling to stage or not to design everything. And then we bring in more furniture objects and then together with materials and colors, actually prototype how this room actually could be used. And yeah, this is the end of this video. Perfect.